Dear friends, hello and welcome today to Toulon on the deck of the modernized frigate Lafayette modernized. And we are lucky to be with the frigate captain Montassia. Did this frigate, it underwent a shock, is that it? An unusual shock. Yes, we are going to take a little tour of the frigate. Afterwards, we explain what this exercise was about. Thank you. For instance, my ancestor Eugène Caylus lived to 75 by profession. He started as a worker and later became a champagne guard. Personally, my maternal ancestors, they have remained since the 16th century in this area around Nook. In Belgium, there are 90 million users. They have 33 billion documents. From all eras, one can have access to some of them, and then one can find distant cousins. Among the 90 million users, there's definitely one you know. And then, it's also an opportunity to find family photos of distant members that you didn't even know. Here we see Henri Albert de Molay, my great-uncle who was a Belgian soldier during World War I. And then also, a really cool feature is that you can bring old images back to life. Here you have improved the quality. And then, you can make them animate. So it's really a great gift that I gave myself and that you can also give to your loved ones. Follow the link, as in the comment of this video, there is a special offer right now, 14 days of free trial. This allows you to retrace your ancestors' footsteps. Alright, let's get back to our topic.
So here we are on the helicopter platform of the Courbet. So these are really the first ships with platforms, the first frigates with such large platforms. It's been very well sized, so it's very comfortable. In operation, we are equipped with a Panther helicopter, and so this helicopter fits easily on this platform. It can approach from just about any direction to land. There is room for a hangar inside, that's it at sea. After completing aviation maneuvers, it returns to its hangar, protected from spray and stabilized by the platform. And so there are landing aid equipment that we do not see here, which have already been dismantled as part of the technical stop that is starting. What we see on the ground is for hooking. Exactly, this is what allows the helicopter to hook onto the deck with what we call slings chains with hooks. The particularity of marine helicopters is this landing grid, a bit like a honeycomb, and the helicopters are equipped with a harpoon, so as soon as it lands on this grid, a harpoon comes out, and already the helicopter is secured on the deck. And only after that we put the slings where needed on the spot. And thanks to this rail, it allows to gain even more sea level, that is to say platform movement. We can put the helicopter into operation from the hangar on the deck on its takeoff spot, with a system that navigates on this rail, allowing it to reach high levels of movement and platform stability at sea.
So we arrive in the hangar, indeed we see...
The rail extends up to this point, so the hangar is not in its usual condition. Normally, the large door behind you opens, allowing the helicopter to pass through. Once the air detachment starts boarding, all the helicopter maintenance equipment is loaded into the hangar and on the mezzanine above. Now on FLF we find a lift. That too was quite new, which goes from the lower decks to the upper deck, which actually allows, on the outdoor sea refueling area, to come down directly into the fridges when we are resupplied with frozen food. Before, it was more like we were troubleshooting and doing everything by hand. The lift, stopping at several levels, is a major addition that enables handling of larger pieces. We will continue on this bridge where we are in the middle of the building, at the level of the two niches, boats. You see, these are two holes in the hull that are made at the lower edge and at starboard, and which allow us to board our two boats, which allow us to deploy our visit team to go and check buildings. We do a lot of so-called police missions, state action at sea. It allows us to do it. And these are also boat niches that allow us to board commando boats instead of ours, if necessary, depending on the mission.
State action at sea refers to measures taken against trafficking and terrorism.
The fight against all trafficking, the fight against different types of pollution, everything that is a bit like the so-called Coast Guard mission. At sea, we close these large niches with what we call SER curtains, which reduce our electromagnetic and radar signature. And so it's closed and extended, and it does like that, ensures continuity. From the hull, we can open them, put the boat in the water, and close them again after.
These were the first so-called stealth frigates. They were the first in the world.
In the 80s. The first of the Lafayette series was admitted to active service in '95 and can be found in the James Bond GoldenEye.
In '95?
It's training.
It really belonged to Admiral Courbet.
During the technical stop, the boat is filled with air ducts to ensure proper ventilation in areas with welding work.
Here, we are rather on the officer's deck, with an office that serves the two officers' squares, the commander's square to my left, and the subordinate officer's square to my right. How many decks do we have?
How many decks? We go from deck 02 to deck 4, roughly inhabitable, not counting the mast, etc. I don't know if you want to see an example of a square. Go ahead, this is the square. Who is square? Junior officer.
Friends, on all ships you're going to be hot, it's mandatory. How many staff are on board?
We have about 140 crew members on board at all times. On a mission, we are always a little more with the helicopter detachment or other reinforcements. The last mission was 180. This is where we conduct operations at sea. The conductor, the car operation officer, he is here all the way in the back. And we find, and that... Is it specific to the renovated FLF, the anti-submarine module, anti-submarine warfare module with the sonar mainly, which is there? A combat system console that has been added, and an anti-torpedo launcher also that has been added. The boat excels in anti-ship warfare, especially in this corner, as I mentioned earlier. Especially because we are equipped with the latest version of the Exocet missile launcher. But an R-40 Block 3C, that's what keeps us in the game. In addition to being very stealthy, we can send the best anti-ship missiles we currently have in the Navy.
I mean French, sir.
On this part here, it's our aircraft helicopter controller that goes here. Here we have the whole part, electronic warfare, so it's about capturing the radar emissions from other buildings or aircraft, or even from the ground when we are in proximity to the coasts and missiles. And perception of all radio emissions on a very wide frequency band of everything that is said around us in that corner there. Here, two operators are in charge of creating the tactical situation. He monitors our radar, creates tracks, and shares them with other units via tactical data link when needed.
Of tactical data.
So the FLFs were natively equipped with links only, and starting this year we switched to link 22 directly. Exactly, so quantitative. Similar to the existing buildings in the Naval Air Group, which have all transitioned to L22 Le Courbet, will also be on L22 once this technical stop concludes. Here is the weapons section. We find the head of the weapons module, the self-defense officer who commands his weapon system. Two posts control the 3.937 inches distance from this post to that post. His drill installed at the RNV at the midlife renovation instead of the
Crotal. It
has a position, one that was removed as part of the technical shutdown, but normally we have one. Both are down there, port and starboard, with two optronic stations here. We have a ball in the hole at the back and another at the front. The front one can serve as a secondary firing control. For the 100mm, that's a novelty of the MEV renovation, and we have weapons service operators who are also doing their stint here. And here we have more of the planning briefing part with the operations office, which prepares the mission upstream and in control the daily briefings.
So what will be the total number of people working here?
We about 15 people simultaneously. Exactly.
The navigation bridge is permanently staffed by 4 people while at sea. Yes, so a car chief who gives orders to steer the ship and who therefore ensures the continuity of command for navigation. He has a car deputy who is in charge of writing the logs, assisting in all the maneuvers we do, and points on the electronic or paper map in backup. And an exercise. We find a classic navigation radar, and here we find our helmsman who physically steers the boat, so in the form of a joystick on the boat. And here the order transmitter, machine or propeller of the Traverse, which is located here. So here we have Navité specialty ships. Yes, Navité for the deputy car part, deputy head of car for the navigation part. And at the helm, it doesn't matter, it's often other deckhands who turn the helm, or here, in this case, at the moment, it's exclusively deckhands. And here too, by the way, it's not necessarily mechanics who operate the machine.
So, on board, we have SICs. Do we have an air traffic controller when there's a helicopter?
They are not air traffic controllers by specialty. Generally, it's a detector, someone who has another operations specialty and who will take a specific course.
It's called CETAC, Tactical Controller of Aeronef. It's a function that accumulates. On board, currently, I have 2.
On board, we have Murmure 40. Murmure 40, that's for...
my offensive action towards others. Anti-ship and the 100mm, which does just as well of the...
anti-aircraft warfare.
and floating goal.
Finally, anti-ship.
Oh, yes, everything.
Done. It's the 100mm anti-aircraft.
With some shells, we shoot the anti-aircraft well.
Okay.
These are shells that... These are specific shells. And we have a firing line above the bridge. The firing line and the 100mm remain a fearsomely effective pair on FLFE. When availability is good, they are fearsomely effective and precise despite being old. What is their operational range on the ground? Depending on what we're firing, we can effectively go beyond 6.21 miles. If we had a naval drone arriving tomorrow, what do we have to protect ourselves? For naval drones, like 100mm is a bit far and more difficult. It's better suited for aerial drones. Honestly, the 20mm and the 12-7, I think that's the most formidable.
The gunners will tell us that it's the 20mm.
Then, in full self-defense and anti-missile mode, my 2 Sadrol launchers are at the back. So each equipped with 6 Mistral missiles, plus even a reserve in the hold that allows me to leave with a good allocation of Mistral missiles. Knowing that, overall,
We are accompanied by other ships as part of a larger fleet, depending on the mission.
absolutely. This boat is often reputed to be a bit of a rogue and act alone. However, during my Eastern Mediterranean mission, I spent 15 days with the Naval Air Group. Our strength lies in adapting to change. Unexpected changes in planning and news led to my integration into the Air and Rail Group, which was completely unplanned. And finally, in 24 hours, counting broadly in one night and a short day, we found ourselves integrated, connected, and exploited. The General Staff used it on the aircraft carrier, which was remarkable. It was challenging for my teams who were unprepared and had to quickly digest a lot of documentation overnight, but it was very motivating. This is our best twin from the Gateway. I can't get to it, but I mean, it's complicated. So here we are on the wing. We can see quite a few systems from here. This is where we maneuver to dock the boat. I'm physically positioned here to dock it. And from here we can see the 20mm, even though it is covered and its tube removed, since we are docked at the home port. Behind we have some of our life rafts. Further behind we have our launchers, infrared or electromagnetic launchers. That is to say,
That is them.
who will attract the missiles coming at us. Exactly, we combine our stealth and decoys that have a radar or infrared equivalent surface, stronger than us to rely on that. Behind under the top are our recently installed anti-torpedo decoys. In the background we see the hoops, but it's actually where our CC missiles are stored. With a maximum of 8 slots, just count them. And further back we come upon a black surface on the roof of the hangar. This is the station with my 2 Sadrol launchers. One launcher is equipped with Mistral missiles, but the starboard side launcher is empty. It's one that was unloaded as part of both the preparation, the shock test. I will return to the precautionary measures we have taken during the technical stop. On the rear mast we typically have the 515, which is our primary combined air and surface watch radar antenna. So here we see that the beam is no longer there. We can see it here on the Gepard. So which one is it? It's on the rear mast. It's the largest horizontal beam. We find an optronic ball just above, which is our main tool for night vision. Our missions allow us to observe tens of kilometers, both night and day, providing visibility into various things. Yes, that's roughly the magnitude, depending on conditions, just above on this large part of the mast. It's our primary communication system. So it's the radome that houses the Syracuse antenna in this latest version. 4 satellites can connect to the Syracuse satellite and have been in recent service. They will be further modernized with the ultimate software version during this technical stop, which will improve throughput further. Many high-level communication and electronic warfare systems were affected after the rest of the system.
Interceptors, radars.
And radios, exactly. And here we have the classic navigation radar, which is right here, like all the buildings.
Well, we are still going to come back to the news about this boat. Apart from this modernization, improvement, apart from its full-on missions, there is also some news. It's that it has undergone a shock test, meaning a mine was detonated near it. First question, is this something we do regularly? Because I'm not very old, but I've never heard of this in the Navy. We do this rarely.
Still, the last one went up to 30 years on a frigate of this type. And so at the time it was required that we do, within the framework of the contract, that we do even before the reception of the building. We perform shock tests to verify compliance with our shock resistance requirements. So the last one was the Lafayette in 1995 before its admission to active service, in about 30 years exactly. There, amidst the escalating conflicts we've discussed and the Navy's operational preparations for high-intensity scenarios, we decided to redo it in several stages, and so the first being to do it on a boat in service, with a representative but moderate shock, since this boat is still intended to resume its missions after its technical stop. As I explained earlier, the Courbet was designated for calendar reasons. My boat was scheduled to go into technical stop with a passage to the basin right now. It starts today. And so we scheduled this shock just before in case we have a problem. So what are we trying to validate? We are validating two things: the resistance of the building and something more important than the building itself.
We didn't doubt it because we had already built ships and still knew how to do it.
But it's also the resistance of the equipment we carry, which for the most part, when still predominantly, are common to all ships. So it's trained from our mission tour. It's a lot trained for that. To come and see in the funds as quickly as possible the possible damages, the combat damages, potential damages, and minor material damage on the premises. And there, only the owners of the premises can realize it. And so we went to see. When we look.
In the video, the staff assume a certain posture. Like all ships, is this something that is a shock?
Planned or unplanned? Yes, I was often asked how I had prepared for this, but the first phase of the preparation, ultimately, it was good. To do as usual, to do as in battle. So we took the combat measures that we take in case of a mine threat. So we adapted these measures since we were not there to avoid a minefield, but to go near the mine for testing purposes. So we slightly adapted our roles. There is an eco-friendly dimension. We make sure there isn't a whale around. How does it work? Yes, completely. The Maritime Prefecture has mobilized significant resources beyond those related to the experiment itself. We have the group of mine divers who put the device and helped us to expose it. There is obviously course B, but there have been very important environmental measures. The Maritime Gendarmerie contributed, particularly through deterrence measures involving noise-making, to make sure there are no marine mammals or even fish in the area at the time of the explosion, and that it lasted many hours even before the explosion.
I'm not referring to navigation safety measures, which are clearly handled by the maritime authorities.
Many people have been mobilized in the carefully chosen unnatural area, and everything has been done according to the rules.
2000, obviously.
All of this has been done well. But as we know how to do it, because it resembles the regular explosions made by the group of divers, miners to defuse mines dating back to World War II or World War I. Moreover,
Yes, I testify. And I refer you to this other video in which I embarked. I had the chance to embark on the Southern Cross. We detonated mines in the Baltic Sea. See the video I mentioned in the comment for reference. Friends, you have seen it's a ship that is starting off on a good footing. Now, we have passed the test. There are no more in the Navy. It's good. There are.
will be others, not necessarily on a service ship, but there will be others. We will reconnect. It fits perfectly into our high-intensity preparation that began in 2021. With the big Polaris exercise, we do everything as if it were real. As much as possible, we go to the end of the gesture. That was the principle. Now it has become a label. We label the Polaris exercise, and it fits perfectly into this framework. An example, a recent example, is that we removed a torpedo from an old hull that we haven't done for years. So recently, we tested our new F-21 torpedo with the DGA on a hull of a recently decommissioned Anaviso, the first Mettler, and so the video is available online. It's quite impressive. We see that it's formidable, so you wouldn't want to get hit by a torpedo. And in the same way that the shock test with the Courbet led to show that it's better to pass next to the mine than over it, and so much the better for us.
And the Polaris exercise, when you say that we are on par with reality, what does that change compared to traditional exercises? That
the buildings manipulate their actual weapon allocation. They run out of ammunition when depleted. If a building has been destroyed, it is destroyed, and even better if it happens in the first hour of the exercise. That's how it is, so we play for real and it changes the game a little bit.
Friends, I hope you enjoyed it. The Courbet, Super Frigate, FLF, the Navy, they are recruiting, and there is a great career, I assure you. And this is for you. Commander, I stand at attention for this. It's like a gram. With pleasure, we'll see you soon on the channel. You'll see we'll have other ships soon. And don't forget to follow my link to trace your ancestors with MyHeritage. Go back in time, find cousins you didn't know, restore old images, and especially enjoy 14 days of free trials to be convinced.